Hey travelers, you've found your way to a quiet corner of the world, far from noise, far from hurry. Here, time slows down, stories come to life again. I'm really glad you pressed play. This is a place for quiet stories, for soft lights, and for those magical little corners of our childhoods that we never really grew out of. Tonight, I want to take you back, not just in time, but into legend. The timeline of Zelda isn't clean. It isn't meant to be. It's mythology, sometimes contradicting itself, always changing with the teller. But now, it's my turn to tell it. So lie back, take a deep breath, and let's begin the story of the Legend of Zelda. This is how it all began. Before there was Hyrule, before there were kings or dungeons or even a hero with a sword, there were just goddesses and golden light. Long, long ago, 3 divine beings descended from the heavens. Din, with fire and strength, shaped the red earth. Nairu gave the world its laws and sense. Farore breathed life into all that would one day walk its forests and fields. And then they were gone, but not without leaving behind a gift, a sacred triangle of unimaginable power glowing with golden light. They called it the Triforce. Now, as a kid, this part of the story always hit me different. The idea that 3 forces, power, wisdom, and courage, could shape everything, that always felt right, like the world made more sense that way. Anyway, they left and the Triforce stayed behind, sealed in a sacred realm. It was pure, untouched. But peace, as you probably know, never lasts forever in stories like these. There was a being named Demise, a creature of hatred, ancient and terrible. He wanted the Triforce not to shape the world, but to bend it, to rule it. And so, a war broke out. To protect humanity, the goddess Hyrule took what was left of her people and sent them into the skies, onto a floating island safe above the chaos. This island would become Skyloft. Then she sealed the surface world away and stayed behind to fight Demise herself. But gods are not eternal, not really, and even Hyrule knew her power would fade. So she made a choice, to be reborn as a mortal, to one day return as a girl. A long time later, above the clouds, on those floating islands, the people had almost forgotten the world below. They lived quiet lives. Among them was a boy named Link and a girl named Zelda. They were best friends. They laughed, they raced birds through the skies, and they had no idea they were destined to change everything. Then, the clouds opened. A mysterious storm took Zelda and the sky was no longer safe. Link followed her, stepping beyond everything he'd ever known, armed with only a sword, a talking spirit named Fi, and a courage he hadn't even discovered in himself yet. He would fight monsters, awaken sacred flames, and wield a blade known as the Master Sword, forged not just in fire, but in purpose. He would reunite with Zelda, now fully awakened as the mortal form of Hyrule herself. And together they would seal away Demise. But Demise didn't die quietly. With his final breath, he cursed them both, that his hatred would be reborn over and over again, chasing the blood of the goddess and the spirit of the hero for all of time. And so, the cycle began. Zelda and Link stayed on the surface, and others followed. They built a kingdom, and they called it Hyrule. At its heart stood the Temple of Time, a doorway to the sacred realm where the Triforce still waited. The Master Sword was placed there too, waiting to be drawn by the next hero when the time came. And that was the beginning of everything. So rest now. The surface is safe, the sky still watches, and the Triforce remains untouched, for now. With the surface cleansed and the demons sealed, the people descended from their sky islands and formed the first version of what we'd come to know as Hyrule. Temples were built, legends were whispered, and the stories of a goddess and her chosen hero slowly faded into myth. But time doesn't stop moving, and neither does the cycle. The hero's spirit, the goddess's bloodline, and the lingering hatred of demise continued to echo through history. Sometime far after the world settled, a new tale began with a boy named Link, though a different Link from before. This one lived in a peaceful little kingdom and was close friends with Princess Zelda. Peace never lasts long in Hyrule. A dark sorcerer named Vati, twisted by greed, shattered the sacred Picori blade and turned Zelda to stone. Link, of course, took up the blade and journeyed across the land to reforge it, meeting the tiny Picori people and a talking green hat named Eslo along the way. It was a quieter story, smaller in scale, but still full of warmth and courage. This adventure ended with the birth of a new weapon, the Four Sword. A blade that could split its wielder into four, dividing their strength but multiplying their spirit. Vati would rise again in time and the Four Sword would be used once more to stop him. These stories sit at the quieter edges of Hyrule's long history. But then, we reach a moment that changes everything. There's something magical about Ocarina of Time, and not just because of its place in the timeline. For many of us, this was our first real journey through Hyrule, our first time opening a treasure chest and hearing that unforgettable jingle. The first time we met the Kokiri, the Gorons, the Zora, all through the eyes of a boy in green, destined to become a legend. But behind the nostalgia lies a story of deep tragedy. Ganondorf, a cunning Gerudo king, sought the power of the sacred realm. The Triforce, left behind by the goddesses, still rested there, capable of granting the wish of anyone who touched it. Link, just a boy, was caught in the middle of this ancient struggle. He pulled the Master Sword from its pedestal in the Temple of Time. But he wasn't ready. The sword sealed him away for 7 long years, leaving Hyrule vulnerable. Ganondorf used this window to invade the sacred realm and touch the Triforce, but it didn't go how he planned. You see, the Triforce doesn't judge good or evil. It reflects balance, and Ganondorf's heart wasn't balanced. He only received the Triforce of power. The other 2 pieces split off, wisdom finding its way to Zelda, and courage, as always, choosing Link. What follows is a journey through a broken Hyrule. From sunlit fields to haunted temples, Link fights to put the world right again. He grows from child to hero, and when the final battle ends, Ganondorf is sealed away and peace is restored, but only for a moment. Zelda, perhaps out of guilt or hope, sends Link back to his childhood. And that single act, born from love and regret, fractures time itself. 001150, the timeline splits. Here, the Legend of Zelda timeline becomes 3. Imagine time as a tree, its trunk splitting into 3 great branches. Each one a world where things went just a little differently. In one, Link returns to the past and warns Zelda, preventing Ganondorf's rise entirely. This is the child timeline. In another, Link never returns, and Ganondorf is sealed, eventually escaping to bring ruin. This is the adult timeline. And in the last, Link falls in battle. Evil wins, and Hyrule is left to pick up the pieces. This is the fallen hero timeline. Each of these paths leads to its own set of stories, some hopeful, others heartbreaking. but all of them are tied together by a single thread. The eternal spirit of the hero, the wisdom of the princess, and the hunger of evil. Sometimes I think about what it must have felt like to be sent back in time after saving the world. To return to a world where no one knows what you've done, where the people you saved will never remember the danger you kept from them. That's where Link finds himself now. Zelda sends him back to his childhood just before Ganondorf ever rises to power. He warns her of the future, and together they make sure that evil is stopped before it begins. Ganondorf is arrested and later executed by the sages, a harsh judgment, but one meant to protect the realm, and peace seems to return. But what about Link? This Link, the one who remembers everything, sets off on a quiet journey of his own. Maybe he's searching for purpose, maybe he's looking for a lost friend. Either way, he leaves Hyrule behind and enters a strange, forgotten place, Termina. This is the setting of Majora's Mask, and to me, it's the most intimate Zelda game of all. Termina isn't just a world, it's a reflection of grief. It's a world full of people going through their own private heartbreaks, all under the shadow of a looming moon, slowly falling closer, day by day. Link only has 3 days to save them, and then 3 days again and again. He wears masks, each holding the memories of someone who came before him. And as he helps people, he learns something that even the strongest hero can forget. Not all victories are won with swords. Some are won by simply listening, by being there, by caring. And in the end, when he defeats Majora and lifts the moon from the sky, he doesn't just save a town. He finds healing. At least, I like to believe he does. Time passes again, and Hyrule grows older, quieter. But peace, as always, is temporary. Despite their efforts, the sage's execution of Ganondorf failed. The Triforce of Power kept him alive, and when he was cast into the Twilight Realm, it only made him stronger and angrier. And so begins Twilight Princess, a darker, more solemn story. This time, our Link is a farm boy, humble, grounded, and very human. He lives a quiet life until one day the world is swallowed in shadows and he is turned into a wolf, forced to navigate a kingdom twisted by twilight. Here, he meets Midna, and their relationship is something special. She's sharp and guarded, he's quiet but steady. They don't trust each other at first, but over time, something gentle begins to form. A connection built not on fate, but on shared struggle. Together, they face Zant, the usurper king of the Twilight Realm. But behind Zant, of course, is Ganondorf. The final battle here feels ancient and mythic. Ganondorf returns wielding all his power. But Link, this new Link, rises to meet him and defeats him once and for all. It's a heavy ending. Midna returns to her realm and destroys the only bridge between their worlds. She smiles at him before disappearing, and Link, he simply walks away. That quiet ending always stayed with me. Later, Hyrule is visited by a new kind of evil. Shadow Link, born of dark magic, begins abducting maidens and stirring unrest. Once again, the Four-Sword is drawn and Link is split into 4. This game is sometimes overlooked, but it carries an echo of all that came before. Vati returns, but so does Ganon. Not Ganondorf this time, but a version born entirely of darkness, wielding a trident like the Demon King of old. Once more, courage wins out. The Links unite, and peace is restored. But this time, it feels thinner, like Hyrule is balancing on a fragile edge. We've now reached the end of the child timeline. It's a path of second chances, of quiet grief, and of stories that feel deeply personal. Each time I revisit these games, I notice something new. A detail in the environment, a line of dialogue, or even just the way a character looks at another. Maybe that's why I love telling these stories this way, like they're bedtime tales from a place that almost feels real. a place we grew up with, a place that still waits for us. In the next part, we'll step into the adult timeline, where Hyrule has vanished beneath the waves and a new era begins on the open sea. Imagine this: you're standing at the edge of the ocean, wind in your hair, salt on your skin, and somewhere deep below the waves lies a forgotten kingdom. This is where the adult timeline begins. When Zelda sent Link back in time to relive his childhood, the Hyrule he left behind was left without a hero. And in that vacuum, Ganondorf rose again. With no one to stop him, the gods made a desperate choice. They flooded Hyrule. The mountains became islands, the fields became sea, and beneath it all, the kingdom we once knew was sealed away, frozen in time under a silent ocean. That's the world we sail into next. The hero of this age isn't a knight or a chosen one. He's just a boy. He lives on Outset Island with his sister and grandmother. It's a quiet life until a giant bird steals his sister away and everything changes. This boy, our new Link, picks up a sword just like the one before him. But this time he's guided by a red talking boat, and the sea becomes his world. There's something deeply comforting about Wind Waker. The pastel skies, the way the ocean sings as you sail, the small islands, each with their own stories and quiet secrets. But this tale has weight too. Ganondorf has returned, not as a tyrant, but as a ghost of the past. He seeks the old kingdom, still dreaming of conquest. But Hyrule is gone, and the world has moved on. When Link confronts him, he does so with Princess Zelda by his side, this time disguised as the pirate Tetra, and together they awaken the old power of the Triforce. But it's too late to save the past. Instead, the King of Hyrule, frozen beneath the sea for generations, makes a choice. He wishes for a future free of old wars and ancient bloodlines. He lets Hyrule go. As the sea rushes in, he stays behind, and Link and Zelda sail away into a world that is finally, truly free. Their next adventure begins not in a kingdom, but on the open sea. Phantom Hourglass is a smaller story, gentler, more intimate. Tetra is kidnapped. Link follows her into a strange, shifting ocean where time itself becomes a puzzle. With the help of a talking ship and a mysterious spirit, he dives deeper into the mysteries of the ocean, chasing an evil called Bellum. The themes here are simple but sweet: perseverance, trust, and quiet bravery. And by the end, Link rescues Tetra and returns to the sea. The whole adventure, some say, may have only lasted a moment, but we remember it anyway. Much later, we arrive in Spirit Tracks, and things feel different. This is a brand new kingdom, far from the Great Sea. Hyrule has been reborn, not beneath the waves, but on a bright green land of rails and steam. Here, the spirit of Zelda is separated from her body, and for the first time, she becomes your true companion, walking beside you in ghost form, possessing giant suits of armor to protect you. Their friendship is one of the loveliest parts of this game. This Link is kind, curious, and quietly clever. He drives a train across vast lands, repairing ancient tracks and uncovering the secrets of a demon king named Maladus. It's a strange adventure, part spiritual, part mechanical, but one full of heart. Together, Link and Zelda defeat Maladus, and with that victory, a new Hyrule is truly born. The adult timeline is the story of letting go, of leaving behind legends and finding your own way forward, of saying goodbye to a kingdom built on destiny, and choosing to build something new together. And I love that, I really do, because sometimes we all need to let go of what was, to honor it, yes, but then step forward into the unknown, trusting that we can build something even better. And maybe that's why this part of the timeline feels so warm to me. Even when it's lonely, even when it's bittersweet, It's hopeful. Sometimes I think about how fragile victories can be. In Ocarina of Time, we saw Link defeat Ganondorf, sealing him away with the help of Zelda and the sages. But the Zelda timeline holds many possibilities, and in one, Link does not win. In this branch of the timeline, the hero of time falls. Ganondorf triumphs, Hyrule plunges into darkness, and with no hero to protect it, the gods once again intervene, this time not with water, but with war, wisdom, and waiting. This is the fallen timeline, and though it begins in defeat, the story doesn't end there. In fact, some of the most legendary tales in Zelda's history take root in this shadowed soil. Generations pass. Ganondorf, now the Demon King Ganon, returns, but so too does a new hero, a young boy in pink with a determined face and a pure heart. His name, Link. But this isn't just another quest to save a princess. In A Link to the Past, Hyrule is already broken. The sacred realm, once the resting place of the Triforce, has become the dark world, twisted by Ganon's greed. Link journeys between both worlds. He collects pendants, rescues descendants of the sages, and battles through haunting, crumbling dungeons. It's not a tale of destiny, it's a tale of duty. And when Link defeats Ganon, he restores peace, not just by force, but by healing the balance of the worlds. It's a story I always return to. It's comforting, familiar, like an old legend you whisper to yourself at bedtime. Afterward, Link finds himself in far-off lands, Labrynna and Holodrum. In Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons, we see Link travel across time and through the seasons, guided not by prophecy, but by friendship and by the memory of Zelda. These twin stories are playful, yet heavy with myth. They are tales of twin witches, ancient flames, and forgotten goddesses, of a hero caught in a cycle far older than himself. And yet, he always chooses to fight. These games remind me, even when the world feels unfamiliar, when the rhythm of time seems broken, we can still make a difference. One step, one season, one moment at a time. After those quests, Link sails home, but he never arrives. Instead, he wakes on an island called Koholint, where the windfish sleeps and reality wavers like a dream. Link's awakening is gentle, surreal, and deeply emotional. There are no princesses, no Triforce, just Link, and a strange world that may not be real at all. As the story unfolds, Link learns the truth. The island is a dream, and to leave it, he must awaken the windfish, knowing the dream will vanish forever. It's a heartbreaking choice, and maybe, in a way, it reflects something we all feel, that longing to stay in the dream, to keep the cozy, peaceful illusion just a little longer. But Link wakes up, because even when something ends, it's worth remembering. Years pass, Hyrule falls again and again. In A Link Between Worlds, we meet a new Link, one born in a kingdom that echoes the past, but stands in its own quiet ruin. There's another world, Lorule, twisted and lost. And again, two heroes try to heal what's broken. But the cracks in Hyrule's foundation deepen. The royal line weakens. The Master Sword is laid to rest. By the time we reach The Legend of Zelda, the original game from 1986, the world is nearly lost. Hyrule is a wasteland, Ganon has returned, Zelda has scattered the Triforce of Wisdom to keep it from him, and a final, unnamed Link rises from obscurity. He doesn't know the full history. He doesn't need to. He hears a call and answers it. The last tale in this branch is Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link. A strange, side-scrolling chapter, one that's often forgotten, but it has weight. Here, Link sets out not to save Zelda from Ganon, but to prevent Ganon's resurrection. He travels across a vast, dangerous land to awaken Zelda from a sleeping spell left from long ago. He faces shadows of himself, literal and metaphorical, and when he triumphs, it's not with glory, but with quiet strength. And that's where this timeline rests. In a world rebuilt again and again. Not by gods, but by people, by courage, by kindness, by perseverance. The fallen timeline is the story of resilience. It tells us, even if the hero falls, even if darkness wins for a time, there will always be another who stands up, another who hears the call, another who steps forward. And to me, that's the soul of Zelda. That the legend doesn't belong to one person, it lives in the hearts of all of us. And that is the story of the Zelda timeline. We've walked through skies and oceans, through time and twilight, through dreams and darkness. And whether you see it as a single myth, or many stories told around a campfire, I hope it's brought you a bit of peace tonight. Thank you for listening. Wherever you are, whether you're falling asleep or just enjoying the quiet, I'm glad we got to spend this time together. And I'll be here next time, whenever you're ready, to tell you another story. Good night, hero. May your dreams be free of re-deads, and may you always wake up with full hearts and, of course, a stocked inventory.